Tyler Perry's Fall from Grace. In a world where Tyler Perry has made Fall from Grace, we present A Fall from Grace on Netflix.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Breakfast All Day. Christy, Matt, Alonso, our second Netflix movie this week and our second movie with a protagonist named Grace this week. Go figure. Tyler Perry's A Fall from Grace, which the first in, I imagine, a series of films he's going to be making directly for Netflix. And wow.
Who wasn't what you described?
Listen,
Wow,
at least it gets the title right. There is a fall caused by grace.
There is that.
Yeah.
And Tyler Perry's in it.
Do I have to describe this?
You don't have to.
I could if you want.
Alonso, why don't you?
Yeah.
Matt doesn't want to.
Sure. I'm just trying to get all the names in front of me. All right. So Grace, who is played by Crystal Fox, is allegedly a murderess, although people don't even want to say allegedly because it's so obvious that she clearly did it. We hear all this like talk radio talking about like what a terrible, terrible person she is. Jasmine, played by Bresha Webb, is a public defender. She doesn't really want to be a lawyer anymore, but she's still paying off her law school debt. She gets assigned to Grace's case. Grace is supposed to cop a plea, and then bam, we're done. But Jasmine starts realizing that pieces of her story don't seem to fit together, and Grace is so nice, and she makes cookies, and she feeds the homeless, and how could she possibly have done this? And so she sets out to perhaps prove her innocence, which involves interviewing her dear, dear friend Sarah, played by Phylicia Rashad. Tyler Perry plays the angry boss of the law firm who's like, get me that plea and stop trying to investigate this case.
Parker!
You can't go to court. Rah!
Give me your badge and gun.
Yeah, I know. There was practically a badge and gun moment, except she's a lawyer and doesn't have one. But her husband does because he's a cop, and that plays into it later. Anyway,
we didn't talk about the badge and gun moment in Birds of Prey, which was awesome.
That's true.
Where
They
Rosie,
talk about it.
Rosie
Yeah.
Perez is accused of only talking like a cop in an 80s series.
She actually has to turn in her badge and gun, and Harley's like, this is when things get interesting.
We all know that's the only time things get done.
Exactly. So, so we find out.
We're talking about the better movie.
we find out that Grace supposedly murdered her husband, who actually married her for all the wrong reasons, and it gets more and more convoluted and ridiculous. And wow, even by Tyler Perry standards, this is a terrible movie. So cheap and so badly shot.
Oh my God.
And so terribly written. And like Dave was saying, you can tell Tyler Perry was like, I don't need to research how like murder trials work. I'll just write it. It's fine.
This movie, okay, first of all, the production values are worse than a mid-90s Skinamax softcore porn movie.
But they're not worse than a Medea movie. It's vaguely more polished than your average. Vaguely.
Jesus,
I mean,
really?
He still doesn't know where to put the camera. Like 20 movies in, he still does not know where to put the camera. He still cuts erratically.
Not on
from,
this set.
You know.
No, I think even the Medea movies have a little, like, except maybe Boo 2. They have like they're a little slicker than this one.
This movie is, okay, the ultimate plot of this movie, in the hands of a much better writer, among other things, could make for kind of a cool film noir story.
It's trying to be that.
Could, right? But oh my God, this movie is, first of all, like, you're right. Like, have you ever even, I don't know much about the law, but I know more than Tyler Perry seems to, just from having watched enough cop shows and legal dramas and whatever. So, there's a whole concept of something called habeas corpus, which literally means
we have the body.
I have the corpse, right? But that doesn't matter, right?
So yeah, it's almost like it's trying to be respectable for a long time. I do feel like it doesn't really crank up to its ultimate optimal insanity until like the last 10 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, that's the trial already has some LOL moments, but yeah, then the last 10 minutes really goes.
It gets really batshit.
Bananasburg.
I had the pleasure, Alonso, of being on Press Play with your husband, where we talked about this, and we discussed the fact that there are two different distinct styles of Tyler Perry movie. There's like big, sloppy, raunchy, goofy Medea movie. And then there are these like sanctimonious soap operas, in which a good woman literally falls from grace, you know, or like something she's done wrong by a bad man, and only through her faith can she get her life back on track. Like, I feel like Acrimony's like this, like all those other ones that are not Medea movies have an element.
Temptation.
Temptation. Yeah.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah, I think from the very beginning there was like that strain of Tyler Perry.
Oh no, absolutely, and I mean that comes out of his.
This is that.
That comes out of his stage work and stuff. But it's like I think with comedies he can more easily get away with not doing the homework and just sort of like kind of riffing on like situational things and character things. But this one as an actual plot makes no sense whatsoever. And then even the characters aren't particularly like, you have people that just
not interested in their own movie.
Well, they just it's like they just turn on a dime, like it is such a thing of bad melodrama of like, you seemed nice, but no, it turns out you're super evil, and it's like, okay, I get it. If you're Tyler Perry, you are delighted and thrilled that the great Cicely Tyson will work with you.
I was just going to mention Cicely Tyson.
But if you introduce Cicely Tyson mutely in the first 5 minutes, we all know she's going to be a major character.
That's
later.
called Chekhov's Cicely Tyson.
Exactly. Oh my God! I forgot to mention during the lodge when he brings when they introduce the gun, and he says, "It's been in my family." I turned to Dave and I said, "I got it from my Uncle Vanya." You give me this flash of Cicely Tyson early on. It's like, well, she's going to explain everything later, and she does.
And I feel like some of these actors, like Cicely Tyson, like Phylicia Rashad, like Tyler Perry himself, are actually trying to act. There's like this bizarre disconnect between the material and the effort that goes into some of the performances. Like Crystal Fox is pretty good in this, despite the fact that the material is insane.
She's giving it her best shot.
She is.
I will say this: I think Tyler Perry acts better than Tyler Perry does anything else, and he's terrible in this.
But something like this, like Gone Girl, when he's acting in a movie that somebody else wrote.
No, even in his own,
and directed by somebody.
Right,
by
totally.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right. Yes, because in his own movies, he's generally at worst bland. I mean, when he's not playing Medea or playing Uncle Joe or one of those characters, when he's just like being like Brian the attorney or whatever.
Yeah, Brian's boring.
Or the good deeds guy. Like that's kind of a snooze.
This guy's boring too.
This guy's boring, but like it's bad boring. Like this is worse than him playing the straight man to Medea.
Rory is his name.
We also hear about how great Grace is, but we've never shown any of that. Like, oh, she feeds the homeless and she bakes cookies. Like, well, we don't ever see that.
Yeah, I don't see one single silpat in this movie. Like, it is. We're told, but never shown.
Also, this movie is all of 2 hours long. You guys,
yes,
it just
it
keeps
is.
going.
Yes,
I love that
it
in the
is.
court scenes, like either of the lawyers will yell objection, and without any reason, the judge will just say sustained. Overruled.
Like the judge says, "I will not warn you again" twice, which means, well, I guess you did then. Because
yeah. I watched this movie. So I started this movie at 10 o'clock last night, thinking, God, I'm going to have to watch the rest of it in the morning. And it was so bad, it kept me up. I was riveted.
What could happen next?
I felt bad because Dave went to bed, and I usually try to be quiet after he goes to bed, but I was just guffawing at certain stuff in this movie. Do we think it is so bad that people should see it?
I mean,
it's Netflix. Why not?
I mean, and the only thing though is it's so long, you guys. Like if it were a half an hour shorter, I'd feel better about.
Like a highlight reel of this would be hilarious, but
no,
you have to wade through a lot of stuff to get there.
I think it is so bad it's good. I think it's the have some friends over, have some drinks, and watch this. It's fucking hilarious.
So I wish that this were playing in a theater because I actually saw it in a screening room with people. Like this is the rare Tyler Perry movie
that screened for
that
the press,
actually screened,
not
and so
for colored girls 10 years ago.
Right, so I went and saw it, and it was so much fun to see it with people because at one point somebody yells out, "Girl, run!" And you need more of that, and I'm like, wait. How did that person get out of those handcuffs? Like, there's a lot of questions, and you want to have people around you. So, Matt, yeah, you're right in that regard. You can't sit by yourself.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm sure it was not nearly as fun for you, Alonso.
It would have
by
been more
yourself
fun
on the
with
couch.
other people, for sure. And again, I say this as somebody who has defended Tyler Perry movies in the past. I think there are some of them that are really funny, that are incisive, that
this
work
one's really funny
as movies. Yeah, this one is this is his most unintentionally hilarious movie since Temptations: Confessions of a Marriage Counselor.
Better or worse than Cats?
Ooh. I think Cats is a bigger batter disaster because the budget and the quality of the cast.
Cats is swinging for the fences.
Which is better, the train wreck or the traffic accident?
This movie just feels like there are times when you can tell that at least when it feels like Tyler Perry's phoning it in, and this feels like one of those.
Yeah.
You know, I think there are movies where he's really trying to do something, or at least trying to be kind of entertaining or something, and you know, I think that can work sometimes, but other times it just feels like this is literally a contractual obligation.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I have this deal with Netflix now. Here we go, and this feels cheaper than his usual movies, and it feels more sort of sloughed off in terms of any kind of narrative or
so they spared every
anything.
expense.
And yet the irony is that you might assume because it's a Netflix movie, because this is like a legitimate thing, whatever this contractual deal he has with them, that it might be a higher quality in terms of like the production values or like the coherence.
No, I think.
No.
I think maybe he agreed to make these for even cheaper, and so it's like, well, this is what you get.
And his own studio. It's all down in his own studio in Atlanta.
No, it's all his thing.
Oh, you know what? They shot it in 5 days. I read that afterward.
They took him that long?
I saw an interview with Bresha Webb where she says that they did this whole thing in 5 days.
And it shows.
I was going to say, but that's actually what the lead of this whole review should have been.
Oh, no.
Right.
Yeah, that explains
Probably
Does that
wrote
provide-
it.
so
Probably wrote it in
much.
a day.
Does it provide?
No,
Yeah.
well, he cranks out these scripts, and his whole big thing is, I don't have a writer's room yet because you don't like to pay union fees. We know we have the receipts on you, Tyler Perry.
All right, so I am saying 3.4 because while it's terrible, I did enjoy myself sometimes.
2.5, but I did get some yucks out of it.
Is that what I said?
And you
2.5?
said 2, Alonso, and Matt said 2.5.
Oh, sorry, 2.
Do we feel good about these numbers?
I'm
yeah,
fine with it.
Yeah, 2.5 because it's fun for the whole family.
Yeah, it's 2.6.
Not
our
really a
number.
family film.
No.
2.6 is our number. It's at 22% on the tomato meter.
Oof.
That's too high.
But that's about standard for a Tyler Perry movie. He's not making them for
Sure.
critics,
I
clearly.
suppose. Anyway. Well, thank you for watching. Please like this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on breakfast at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay, where we have tons of fun extra content for our members. So thanks for watching. Are we?
I don't know. We're doing Oscar picks, right?
Oh, is that for YouTube?
I don't know.
Okay, then it's for. All right, never mind. Then. All right. Well, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.